On an evening that seemed peaceful, Liu Wan Shui sat on his sofa, holding a yogurt in hand. What he didn't know was that the sweetness he tasted was a prelude to his final moments. The woman he loved, Xiao Min, who presented herself as an educated and successful individual, had secretly planned to ensure he would never wake again. But the tragedy didn't stop there. Fabricated messages, chilling encounters, and layers of deceit unraveled a deeply sinister plan. The crime shocked an entire society, raising profound questions about trust and the darkness within human nature. Welcome to China Case Podcast, where we dive deep into stories that leave you questioning the world around you. Tonight's story begins on November 11th, 2013. While many were celebrating Singles Day in China, 34-year-old Xiao Min, a woman who had spent years studying abroad, planned an ordinary dinner with her boyfriend, Liu Wan Shui, at his rented apartment. Or so it seemed. What unfolded that night was far from ordinary, it was terrifying. Before meeting Liu, Xiao Min meticulously orchestrated a horrifying scheme. She ordered a highly toxic sedative online and mixed it into a cup of yogurt she placed in his refrigerator. In her mind, Liu would drink the concoction, slowly drift into eternal sleep, and never suspect the woman he loved was his killer. When Liu unknowingly drank the poisoned yogurt, the effects were immediate. A wave of exhaustion overcame him, his body weakening by the second. Eventually, he collapsed onto the sofa. Xiao Min sat quietly, her calm gaze fixed on his fading life, as if death was nothing more than an inevitable conclusion. For the next 7 days, Liu's lifeless body remained on the sofa. Xiao Min never once considered calling for help. Instead, she spent the time grooming his corpse, maintaining the illusion of life. Her actions were not only emotionless, but also calculated, reflecting a cold determination to erase any traces of her involvement in his death. As dawn broke over the quiet cityscape, Xiao Min, calm and resolute, began executing the next phase of her meticulously crafted plan. Her first step was to ensure that no one would question Liu's sudden absence. Picking up his phone, she composed a message to his boss, carefully mimicking his tone and usual phrasing. At precisely 9:57 a.m., Liu's supervisor received a seemingly ordinary text, stating that Liu needed to take a day off due to unexpected matters. This was only the beginning. Half an hour later, Xiao Min sent another text, this time to a colleague. She crafted the message with painstaking attention to detail, replicating Liu's typical way of communicating, down to his choice of words and punctuation. Her precision was chilling. Every text was designed to maintain the illusion that Liu was alive and well. Her deception extended to Liu's family. Using his phone, she reached out to his sister under the guise of casual concern. She asked about a recent phone purchase and reminded her to dress warmly as the weather turned colder. The message, like the others, carried the familiarity and warmth of a loving brother, completely disarming any suspicions. Over the following days, Xiao Min maintained the charade with unsettling efficiency. She used Liu's phone to communicate with his business partners, pretending to handle work-related matters. These exchanges served a dual purpose. They not only diverted attention from Liu's absence, but also painted a picture of a man too preoccupied with work to be contacted directly. Inside the apartment, the reality was far more grim. Liu's lifeless body lay on the sofa, gradually succumbing to the effects of decomposition. The stench grew more pervasive, yet Xiao Min appeared unbothered. Her focus remained on covering her tracks. As the situation became increasingly untenable, Xiao Min took a bold step. She contacted an acquaintance she had met online, a man from Xi'an. Under false pretenses, she persuaded him to act as her guardian for a medical procedure. On November 13th, with his unwitting assistance, she underwent an abortion at a local hospital. The man remained oblivious to the dark secret she harbored, believing he was simply helping a friend in need. Despite the mounting horror in her apartment, Xiao Min continued to present a composed exterior. She met with relatives, maintaining an air of normalcy. During a visit to the Biao temple, she even prayed for peace, her serene demeanor starkly contrasting with the reality of her actions. The juxtaposition was unsettling, a woman seeking spiritual solace while concealing a murder. Xiao Min's ability to compartmentalize her life, oscillating between calculated criminal acts and outward piety, was as horrifying as it was baffling. For a time, her cold precision seemed to shield her from suspicion. November 16th began like any other day for Xiao Min. She decided to invite her cousin to her apartment, a move calculated to reinforce the illusion of normalcy. Her demeanor was warm, her tone inviting. Yet, the moment her cousin stepped inside, something felt off. A pungent, nauseating odor filled the air, clinging to every corner of the small apartment. When he questioned her about it, Xiao Min waved it off with an air of nonchalance. "It's just the dampness," she explained, blaming the closed windows and poor ventilation. Her casual dismissal was unconvincing, but her cousin, hesitant to press further, nodded and let it slide. However, the unease lingered. As Xiao Min busied herself in the kitchen, her cousin's curiosity caught the better of him. He began to look around, his movements cautious yet deliberate. It wasn't long before he stumbled upon a sight that would haunt him forever. Liu's decomposing body, slumped lifelessly on the sofa. His heart raced as a wave of horror washed over him. He fled the apartment without a word, his only thought being to alert the authorities. That evening, the police descended upon Xiao Min's apartment. Their search was thorough, uncovering evidence that painted a damning picture. The poisoned yogurt container, traces of the sedative, and the messages sent from Liu's phone. Confronted with the overwhelming evidence, Xiao Min initially feigned ignorance. She claimed the poison was meant for herself, a desperate act of self-harm, and that Liu had accidentally consumed it. But the police saw through her lies, the detailed timeline of her actions, the fake messages, the absence of any attempt to save Liu, and the deliberate concealment of his body revealed a calculated intent. Piece by piece, Xiao Min's carefully constructed narrative fell apart. The chilling reality of her actions was laid bare, shocking even the most seasoned investigators. Xiao Min's trial drew intense public attention. The courtroom was packed, the air heavy with anticipation and outrage. Every detail of the case was scrutinized, every piece of evidence dissected. Xiao Min, once a respected professional with an impressive academic background, now stood accused of a crime so heinous it defied comprehension. Her defense hinged on claims of emotional instability. She portrayed herself as a victim of overwhelming stress and relationship turmoil, arguing that her actions were a tragic mistake rather than a premeditated murder. According to her, the poison in the yogurt was intended for her own consumption, and Liu's death was an unintended consequence. But the prosecution dismantled her argument with cold precision. They presented evidence of her premeditation: the online purchase of the toxic sedative, the careful preparation of the yogurt, and the calculated use of Liu's phone to fabricate a false narrative. Her lack of remorse and her decision to focus on concealing the crime rather than seeking help were damning. Witness testimonies added further weight to the prosecution's case. Friends and family of Liu recounted his growing fear of Xiao Min's controlling behavior. Colleagues described her as manipulative and cold, a stark contrast to the image she tried to project. When the verdict was delivered, the courtroom erupted in murmurs. Xiao Min was found guilty of murder and sentenced to the harshest penalty under the law. The decision was met with a mixture of relief and sorrow. While justice had been served, the loss of Liu and the devastation wrought on both families could never be undone. The case of Xiao Min and Liu Wan Shui is a grim reminder of the complexities of human relationships and the destructive power of unchecked emotions. It is a story that challenges our understanding of love, trust, and the lengths to which some will go to maintain control. Liu's tragic fate underscores the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships. His unwavering loyalty and willingness to overlook Xiao Min's behavior ultimately led to his undoing. For Xiao Min, her actions reveal the dangers of letting resentment and control fester unchecked, transforming love into obsession. As we close this chapter, let us reflect on the lessons it offers. True love is built on mutual respect and understanding, not control or manipulation. When trust is broken, it can pave the way for unimaginable consequences. As the chilling details of Xiao Min's crime emerged, so too did revelations about her past, peeling back layers of her seemingly perfect life. What the public discovered was a tale of trauma, ambition, and a deeply fractured psyche hidden behind the mask of an accomplished woman. Xiao Min's life had been a patchwork of achievements overshadowed by personal failures. Born into a modest family, she excelled academically, earning scholarships and eventually pursuing higher education in Germany. To many, Xiao Min embodied success, a woman who had overcome obstacles to achieve greatness. But beneath this exterior was a volatile personality shaped by years of emotional upheaval. Her troubles began in her late 20s when her first marriage ended in divorce. The separation was reportedly acrimonious, leaving Xiao Min with lingering feelings of resentment and inadequacy. Determined to rebuild her life, she left China for Germany, immersing herself in a rigorous academic environment. Her time abroad, however, was not without its challenges. While she achieved professional success, friends and colleagues noted her rigid, often confrontational demeanor. She demanded control in every situation, alienating many who tried to get close to her. When she returned to China in 2012, Xiao Min took a position at the same software company where Liu Wan Shui worked. Initially, she made a strong impression. Her credentials and polished demeanor drew admiration from her peers. However, cracks soon appeared in her professional facade. CEO workers described her as inflexible and easily angered, often embroiled in conflicts over trivial matters. It was clear that her need for control extended beyond her personal relationships. Her relationship with Liu began innocently enough. As a mild-mannered and compassionate man, Liu was drawn to Xiao Min's intellect and sophistication. Despite her stern exterior, he saw glimpses of vulnerability in her, believing he could help her heal from her past. However, as their relationship deepened, Xiao Min's darker traits surfaced. She became increasingly controlling, criticizing Liu for perceived shortcomings and belittling him in private. Friends of Liu noted that he seemed to shrink in her presence, his once bright demeanor overshadowed by her dominance. The relationship reached a turning point in September 2013, when Xiao Min revealed she was pregnant. While she saw the pregnancy as a means to secure their future together, Liu's reaction was far from joyful. He had recently uncovered a secret that shattered his trust. Xiao Min had been married before and had deliberately hidden this from him. The revelation caused irreparable damage to their bond. Liu confided in his sister, expressing doubts about his future with Xiao Min. He described feeling trapped, torn between his love for her and his growing unease about her manipulative behavior. As tensions escalated, Xiao Min's aggression became physical. Liu's family recounted incidents where she lashed out at him, including a particularly violent episode where she pushed him down a flight of stairs during an argument. Despite the abuse, Liu hesitated to leave, holding on to the hope that she would change. But by November 10, 2013, he had reached his breaking point. Packing a bag, he sought refuge with a relative, determined to distance himself from Xiao Min. Tragically, her pleas and promises of change convinced him to return the following day, setting the stage for the events that would claim his life. When Liu stepped through the door of his apartment on November 11th, Xiao Min greeted him with an unsettling calm. Her demeanor was warm, even nurturing, a stark contrast to the turmoil that had defined their relationship in recent months. She had spent the day meticulously preparing for his return, masking her sinister intentions with the guise of reconciliation. Xiao Min had planned every detail of the evening. She prepared a meal of Liu's favorite dishes, creating an atmosphere of comfort and familiarity. Her words were gentle, her actions considerate, all designed to lower his defenses. Liu, weary from the emotional toll of their recent conflicts, allowed himself to believe that perhaps this marked a new beginning for them. After dinner, Xiao Min offered Liu a dessert, a cup of yogurt she claimed would help him relax. Unbeknownst to him, the yogurt was laced with a lethal dose of sedative. The poison, purchased weeks earlier, was chosen for its potency and subtlety, ensuring a quick but untraceable demise. Liu accepted the yogurt without hesitation, trusting the woman he still loved despite their troubles. The effects were swift. Within minutes, Liu felt an overwhelming wave of fatigue. His vision blurred, and his limbs grew heavy. He slumped onto the sofa, struggling to stay conscious. Xiao Min watched in silence, her face devoid of emotion. She observed every moment of his suffering, her calculated calm betraying no hint of remorse. As his breathing slowed and his body went still, she sat motionless, her gaze fixed on the lifeless form before her. Over the next several days, Xiao Min carried out her plan with chilling precision. She used Liu's phone to send messages to his family, colleagues, and friends, maintaining the illusion that he was alive. The messages were crafted with painstaking attention to detail, mimicking Liu's tone and style. Her goal was clear: to buy herself time to conceal her crime. Meanwhile, the reality of the situation festered in the small apartment. The stench of decomposition became impossible to ignore. Yet Xiao Min appeared unfazed. She went about her daily routines, even hosting visitors, as if nothing was amiss. Her detachment from the horror unfolding around her was as shocking as the crime itself. The revelation of Liu's death and the circumstances surrounding it sent shockwaves through the community. News of the crime spread rapidly, sparking outrage and disbelief. How could a woman as educated and accomplished as Xiao Min commit such a calculated and heinous act? The case became a lightning rod for discussions about the complexities of human relationships and the potential for darkness to hide behind even the most polished exteriors. For Liu's family, the news was devastating. His elderly parents, who had relied on him for emotional and financial support, were left reeling. His mother, unable to comprehend the loss, fell into a state of inconsolable grief, frequently crying out his name. His father, once a proud and stoic figure, appeared broken, his spirit crushed by the senseless tragedy. Xiao Min's family faced their own reckoning. Friends and neighbors, once proud of her achievements, distanced themselves, unable to reconcile the image of the successful, well-educated woman with the cold-blooded killer revealed in the headlines. Her parents, humiliated and heartbroken, withdrew from public life, choosing to live in isolation to escape the shame. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of the most chilling cases of modern times. Stay tuned for more episodes of China Case Podcast, where we uncover the stories that captivate and challenge us. Until next time, take care and always remember, behind every story lies a lesson waiting to be learned.